it's Tina and I am back for a quick swatch and review video for the Marc Jacobs Style Icon number 20 Plush Eyeshadow Palette. Whew! It is the new Marc Jacobs palette for the holidays, so let's go ahead and jump into the swatches and then we'll get into the review. So let's go ahead and take a look at the overall palette. You can see we have 20 eyeshadows in rows of 5. First up, we have the neutral shades. So these are the matte neutral shades. There aren't any names for these, just numbers. So these are shades 1 through 5. Shades 6 through 10 are more wearable neutral shades. They are all shimmery shades. There are no mattes in this row. And then shades 11 through 15 again are shimmery shades. There are 2 matte gray shades in this, a light gray and a deeper gray. And then the last row has shades 16 through 20, which are all deep, dark, smoky shades for nighttime looks. We'll start out with the first row of mattes. They don't have names, they just have numbers. So shade number 1 is a matte baby pink shade. It is a very light ivory shade with a pink undertone. It takes a little bit of building up, but it can be built up to good pigmentation. Then we have number 2, which is a matte warm nude shade. This one is a warm beige shade. It is great for blending in the crease. It actually blends in nicely with my skin tone, and it's really smooth and creamy. Then we have shade number 3, which is a matte bisque shade. This is more of a very nude beige shade. It does come off a little bit more yellow on my skin tone, but it's definitely a beige shade. Then we have number 4, which is described as a matte meringue. And this, again, is a yellow toned ivory shade. As you can see, it looks definitely yellow next to the 3rd shade. Then we have the 5th shade, which is a matte tawny apricot. And this one is a matte peachy toned neutral shade. And again, it works great to blend out in the crease area or just to use as a highlight shade. These shades are very light on my skin tone. They're not very usable for me apart from the nude shade, which I can blend in the crease. The others are just highlights. Then we have the second row. Shade number 6 is an icy lavender shimmer. This one is like a dirty, muted, dusty lavender shade. Not my favorite shade. It's kind of ugly. Then we have the number 7 shade, which is a pale gold shimmer. This is a beautiful, shimmery, light gold shade. Really gorgeous shade. Great pigmentation. Then number 8 is a moss green shimmer. This one is a dirty, mossy olive green shade. I really like this shade for the fall time. It's a muted green shade, really beautiful to work with. Number 9 is an oyster gray shimmer, which is just a dirty gray shade. It's really pretty actually, kind of a taupey shade. Then number 10 is a burnished gold shimmer, which is what it says. It's a yellow gold. It's kind of a old gold shade, really beautiful. These shades are actually really nice, have good pigmentation, even though some of the shades are not my favorite colors to work with. So here you have the matte shades next to the first row of colors. Again, not the most beautiful shades at all, not the shades I would put together, but they actually work for really muted, wearable fall looks. Next we have shade number 11 in the 3rd row, which is a matte violet gray shade. And to me, this is a dusty gray tone with purple undertones. It actually is a really beautiful color and it works great in the crease just for those really simple, cool tone looks. Then we have shade number 12, which is a violet truffle shimmer. This one is a brown bronze shade with a little bit of a dusty purple undertone. Then we have the shade number 13, which is a copper rose shimmer. This one is a bright coppery, almost an orange tone shimmery shade. Really great pigmentation and really beautiful. Then we have the shade number 14, which is a matte slate blue shade. And I would describe it as that. It's a matte slate gray shade with a blue undertone to it. Really beautiful for the crease. Then we have one not so great shade. It's number 15, Ultraviolet Glitter. This one is a little bit of a tricky shade. It doesn't show up very well, but it's a violet shade with silver glitter, and the glitter just falls off, so it doesn't even matter. It doesn't really stick to the skin. So here are those 5 shades. Moving on, we have shade number 16, which is a matte maroon violet shade. This one I didn't love either. It's a matte purpley plum shade. It's a little bit of a powdery or patchy finish, but you can build it up, but it's not the best shade in the bunch. Then we have number 17, which is a black with iridescent glitter. This one has beautiful shimmer throughout it. It's a matte base. It has great pigmentation, but the shimmer does fall off. Then we have shade number 18, which is a cabernet glitter. And this one is kind of a dusty cranberry brown shade with iridescent shimmer. Really beautiful shade as well, but the glitter again falls off. Then we have shade number 19, which is a midnight navy with iridescent glitter. Again, it's a blackened shade with a touch of blue to it with iridescent glitter. And then last up, number 20 is a matte mahogany shade, which is a deep yellow toned caramelly espresso shade. Really beautiful for deepening up the crease. And here you have those 5 smoky shades. Again, they all have nice pigmentation except for that first shade. It's a little patchy, but the glitter falls off of those beautiful midnight smoky shades. And here are those 10 shades swatched on my arm. Again, most of them have good pigmentation except for those 2 center shades, the purple and that patchy burgundy shade. So here again are all 20 shades swatched on my arm. As you can see, there are light shades, there are neutral shades, there are deep smoky shades. All these shades are just wearable. There are no real bright in-your-face shades here. So if you want a really wearable palette, this is one to pick up. Here is what those smoky shades look like once the glitter falls off of them. As you can see, you're just left with a matte base with a bit of shimmer in it. The center shade is more of a dusty purple shade, and then you have those 2 blackened shades on the end. The shimmer falls off, and that's all you're left with. So now that you've seen the swatches, let's go ahead and talk about the actual palette. It comes packaged in this beautiful kind of sparkly galaxy box. It's a really beautiful box, and on the back it has the shades, which is they're just numbered. They don't have names at all. And it says 20 day to night shades, luxurious textures, pure performance. So this palette retails for, wait for it, $99. Yes, $99. But it has 20 eyeshadows in it. And if you are familiar with Marc Jacobs, their regular Marc Jacobs palettes, which have 7 shades in here, I think it's 7. Yeah, they have 7 shades. These are $59. So there's 7 shades for $59 and 20 shades for $99. So for less than the price of 2 of these 7 eyeshadow palettes, so for 14 eyeshadows, you're getting 20 eyeshadows. So as far as Marc Jacobs goes and Marc Jacob eyeshadows go, I think it is priced magnificently because you're getting 20 eyeshadows for the cost of like 12 of their regular eyeshadows. So I think it's a good deal for Marc Jacobs. Aside from that, it's like where? But if you look at like By Terry palettes, which are $96, and those only have 10 eyeshadows in there, or you look at a Tom Ford palette, which is 4 eyeshadows, and those are $70. So high-end wise, you're getting a good bargain here. So if you're a Marc Jacobs fan, or you wanted to try out Marc Jacobs because you wanted to splurge on a luxury item this holiday season, it's a good price point for how many eyeshadows you're actually getting. Now let's take a look at the packaging. Like I said, it comes in this sparkly box. It's a really pretty box actually, but I'm gonna throw that out. And it's reminiscent of the regular palettes from Marc Jacobs. You know, their signature lacquer black palettes. And it has a silver clasp or a silver snap fit right there. So you actually have to push it and it opens up the palette, and then the lid kind of flips up. And then it has a full infinity mirror. That's what they're saying it is. And that is so true. It extends to the full width and length of the actual palette, and it is at a 120-degree angle, so you can use this easily to apply your eyeshadow without having to hold the actual lid up. So that's beautiful, and it's a really good mirror too. It's a really good mirror. Okay, so it closes securely with that clasp, which I absolutely love, and it's very sleek and thin. So I really love the packaging, but it won't fit in drawers because it is still wide. But overall, I really love the packaging. And inside you have 20 eyeshadows in rows of 5. There are 4 rows of 5, and they actually are laid out according to how you would use them. So you have the top row is a matte row of neutral and highlight shades. The second row is kind of a more wearable neutral look. The third row is also neutral. You can get nice neutral looks from that. And then the bottom row is a smoky row. I really was skeptical about the color selection in here. I was like, I don't love that color selection. It is very blah for me. But I can see how you can get a bunch of wearable looks from this. They're subdued colors, they're subtle, they're nicely pigmented, they blend effortlessly, they're really beautiful eyeshadows, they're really buttery and soft, and I can see how someone can get wearable looks from this. The blend-in shades, they have two kind of crease shades that are more geared towards medium skin tone. So if you're a darker skin tone, I would say grab your blend-in shades, because I need to use my blend-in shades and transition shades. But they have some nice highlight shades. The highlight shades are a little bit light, but again, if you're a deeper skin tone, you're gonna have to grab different highlight shades. But the rest of the palette is geared towards any skin tone. Actually, they have a deep matte brown. The only complaint I have is that the 3 dark shimmery smoky shades are a fallout nightmare. They don't actually end up keeping the shimmer on, and I mean, that's here or there. It depends on how you look at it. You can obviously use a very sticky primer to get the glitter to stick, but you're gonna have to be careful when blending them. You're gonna have to be careful with the fallout. So that's the only drawback of the eyeshadow palette. And the other thing I would say is, if you don't like these colors, don't get the palette. These are colors I would say take a little bit more imagination than they're just straightforward. Here are the colors, use them. Because you have this purple and then you have this bright vintage gold, and you're like, how do I use those? You know what I mean? But you can look at it like this. You can use the shades downwards, so in each column, and these actually would work well together. Again, each column, you can use these shades together. So if you're like, well, how do I use these? Look at each column. They have shades that work together. And then even in each row, you can kind of mix and match the colors. So don't be scared of it, but if you don't like the colors, or you're like, I don't know what to do, don't get it, because it's expensive for you not to use it. But if you're a little bit adventurous, you have some imagination, and you're willing to play around, then I think it's a great leap into the luxury world. I think it's a great leap into Marc Jacobs, because it's Marc Jacobs. You would have to buy each of these for $59, and you only get 7 shades when you can get a full 20 shades for, you know, less than twice the price. And these have the same quality to me. I've had 2 of the Marc Jacobs palettes, and I like them, but to me, I was like, oh, $59, that's pricey for only 7 shades. So when the 20 shade came out, I was like, yes, done, doing it. The shades to me are definitely more dupable, or you'll see similar shades in other brands, cheaper brands, and it has to be worth it to you. So if you want to use a luxury brand, you want really nice eyeshadows that really perform really nicely, and you just want to say you have a luxury brand, then that's the way to go. I think the palette is a great investment. But if you're just looking for shades and you can find them elsewhere, then skip this altogether, because you're gonna find similar shades elsewhere. There's no doubt about it. It has to be something that you definitely are interested in. I think it's a nice gift. It's a nice luxury gift for somebody. You're like, oh, I know you wouldn't buy this yourself, but I'm gonna buy it for you because I think you would enjoy it. It's a great gift because it's very practical, it's usable, it's wearable shades. Everyone can get some use out of it. It won't be for the color lover, but any color lover still likes a neutral palette. So I think it's worth checking out if you're interested. If you're not willing to pay that price, then don't even look at it. Don't even look at it, because you can find the same colors elsewhere. So hopefully this video was helpful with the swatches to kind of see if these shades are ones you would be interested in. And definitely hit the like, favorite, subscribe if you like this video. I will leave links below to where you can find this. It's exclusively at Sephora. I will also leave links to my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page where you can follow me along. And if you aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's also right here, so you can see future videos like this, because there are a lot of videos, a lot of reviews, a lot of swatches. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!